If you are a fan of softball, you are going to love the Fastpitch TV show. From softballjunk.com, we're bringing you more softball than anyone on the planet. Sit back and get ready. Here's the Fastpitch TV show.
Hello, I'm Gary Leland, and this is the Fastpitch TV show. Make sure and take a look at all my videos, my blogs, and other softball information on my website at www.fastpitch.tv. Now, the Fastpitch TV website brings you more free softball information than anyone else on the planet. And today, I bring you episode 13 in the history of softball. Now, I've been working with Fastpitch softball legend, Dr. Richardson, and Alison Strange of PFX Athletics to film a series of interviews between Richardson and other softball legends. You are going to be amazed at some of the softball greats that are joining us on this series of shows. Now, on this episode, Richardson interviews UCLA coaching great Kelly Inouye-Perez. This is another great interview in this series. Now, let's go to the show right after this short message.
Oops, sorry. I was reading this month's issue of the Fastpitch magazine. What? You're not familiar with the Fastpitch magazine? Watch this. You are going to love it. Looks great, right? Want to find more about the #1 coaching tool on the internet? Go to fastpitchmagazine.com today.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Richardson, and I am here again with a legend. This is one of those individuals I would say is an unsung hero, Kelly Inouye-Perez. Why do I say unsung? Because she's a catcher. And she is a servant heart, and her career, national champion, 10 and under, 12, 14, 16, 18, NCAA national champion at UCLA. She's also went on to assistant coach and now currently is the head coach at UCLA and has seen the history of the sport grow. And Kelly, it's an honor to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Come on, talk to me about when you're a little girl, share the history, things that you want everyone in the audience to be able to enjoy and remember in our game.
You know, I started the sport following my sister and started at 10 years old, probably probably 9, a little bit closer. But my first championship was the summer when I was 10 and got to make an all-star team, Bobby Sox, local team, and got to play against a really big Hawaiian team I'll never forget, Kaneohe, and got to experience my first championship. And thought, oh my God, this is kind of fun. I'm really liking this. And, you know, I was surrounded by just wonderful athletes that just really inspired me. But from that, probably the start of this history of me being a Bruin and things that have led to where I am today is I got picked up from that team to play on travel ball teams. And it's there where I crossed paths with Lisa Fernandez. And she was the pitcher that threw real hard, and they always needed a catcher to be able to catch this phenomenal athlete, and so we paired up. So from 10 years old, Lisa and our story started, and from there we got to be picked up and play on the same travel team. We're fortunate to win championships, you know, pretty much every level with the Gordon Panthers organization for ASA, and had some of the best memories of our lives winning it, you know, tournaments all over the country for ASA. But then probably the most exciting part of our career was being on the stage at UCLA and being able to play together once again and get to Oklahoma City. And one quick fact that was kind of fun is in 18 and under ball, I'll never forget, we got to play in this tournament, this Hall of Fame tournament, in this brand new stadium. For the first time, they built this field that we went to in travel ball during ASA, and we stopped over and we're just going to play in this new tournament. And I remember getting to the field and looking out in center field and saw the most massive scoreboard we had ever seen. But the field was brand new. There really aren't any bleachers. The field was just kind of there, but the scoreboard I remember like no other. And I have a picture with Lisa and I. She's on my back, or actually I'm on her back, and there's another one of us. There's 4 of us. We just won the first ever Hall of Fame tournament, and we're in front of this massive scoreboard. And never did I think, fast forward, that our next opportunity would be to win a College World Series on that stage. So to be able to do that and win championships, more than one, we're fortunate. But now to be able to, be an assistant and then be a head coach and be able to strive to be on that stage is probably something that, really keeps me going every day. It's an exciting part of our game. It's the biggest stage right now, knowing that we're not an Olympic sport right now currently. So it's something that, like I said, it's a dream come true for a lot of girls. But for me, I want to be able to create that dream for those future recruits and let them have the same experiences that both Lisa and I did, when we were Bruins.
See how Kelly can't even talk without talking about her pitcher. But Lisa Fernandez, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, NCAA Player of the Decade for the 80s, went to UCLA, superstar, legend, as hopefully everybody listening knows, but couldn't happen without this one. The battery, the pitcher catcher, this is the one. And what really intrigues me, Kelly, though, is your mentality, your mental part of the game. Obviously, we see the pitcher. Lisa stands for the epitome of that mental toughness, but you are describe yourself. That's the ingredients for that mental strategy as a coach, brought you from a player as a successful catcher to where you are so successful now as a coach.
I think the love of the game is truly about, for me, it is a selfless position. I don't need the spotlight to be about me, yet I definitely have a passion for, having a vision for the game on how it should be played out, and being able to identify with each pitcher and finding their strengths and making them feel as confident as possible, and directing traffic out there on the field with all my other players, from building a relationship with the umpire. I truly enjoy that part of the game, and being able to see a team be able to play to their fullest when it matters most is something that I take great pride in. And a big part of that is building confidence with all your teammates, making sure your pitcher feels like she is unbeatable. And those types of things are things that I truly enjoy, and it's my passion. I love inspiring and working with others. And like I said, it's not about me, but it's about being a part of something that is pretty special. And I truly believe that that's what this sport is all about. It's a team effort, and when we're all together in one, some pretty special things can happen.
So, observing Kelly I, the reason you're a winner, that tradition of excellence, unselfishness, knowledge of the game with passion. But I can tell you in strategies, but the biggest thing too is you mentioned relationships. When I see you, you care about each and every one of your teammates at the time. And now as a coach, I see that with team bonding and building, the time you put in to your craft. It's not a profession with you, it's really a craft. How do coaches that are listening, what is that ingredients as you connect with your players and get the most out of them?
I was told when I came into this Bruin family what our philosophy was, and the philosophy is very simple. In order to be successful in life, you have to keep your priorities straight. And for us at UCLA, the philosophy is family comes first. Then school is next. That degree is pretty special, and softball is actually is what we all love to do. But if you don't keep your priorities straight and you don't take care of your family first and school, then you don't get to play what we all love. So we spend a lot of time building that culture with family, defining how we as a Bruin family are going to represent the program, and taking great pride in understanding we're a part of something that's bigger than us. So I love teaching that. I love teaching them that you're wonderful ball players, but you're joining a family that is bigger than you. And our biggest responsibility is to represent them and continue to grow as young females that are going to continue to get out there and lead in the real world, and be confident women that are going to succeed and continue to be recruited. And we all get to do that through this wonderful opportunity of a 4-year college career. But for me, it's not about a 4-year experience or a college softball experience. It's about an opportunity for the rest of your life to be surrounded with people that are absolutely wonderful, supportive people that have your back on good days and bad. And that part makes you very proud to be a part of all the people that have walked before you. And you take great pride in sacrificing and doing the little things to represent, knowing that you're definitely going to be able to have a wonderful future surrounding yourself with people that are just like you.
Mm-hmm. Notice, I don't know if you caught it, Kelly I is talking about family. She has a family. Kelly Inouye-Perez, husband, son, daughter. But when she talked about family, she talked about the team as part of that family. That is extremely important. I think that's a huge ingredient for all your success. But you mentioned something about those who've gone before you. This is a time about the history of our game. I want you to go back in your memory banks and just start name dropping and the feeling of the era, and just take us through where you all are today. And this is one of my fun parts of it.
Well, for me, I can vividly remember watching UCLA play when I was a young travel ball player, and seeing players like Janet Pinot, who I thought was just a phenomenal, unique catcher, and obviously one of my good friends, Janice Parks, being able to see, God, I remember seeing, what was her name? I think, who was the big hitter? Susan Lefevre? No, wait.
Yeah.
Sue Lewis. Sue Lewis. Oh my gosh, I saw
For
her.
Fullerton.
Got to see her crush a ball. I got to see Trish Mang play. I got to see so many.
Trish Mang, oh my gosh, can rip the ball. Janice Park, future Olympian, playing for the Puerto Rico. But oh my gosh, I remember that kid could kill the ball.
But during my time, I was fortunate to be surrounded by some of the best. I played with Lisa Longacre, who was a two-time Honda Broderick Award winner. Obviously Lisa Fernandez and I, three-time Honda Broderick Award winner, and obviously the Honda Cup winner.
Which was the first time a collegiate softball player was ever named the best female athlete of all sports. Was Lisa Fernandez in softball, correct?
I absolutely love bragging about this, because every sport has the Honda Award winner, which we know, which softball always has one, and then they picked the Honda Cup, which is the best female athlete in the country at the time. And 2 times in the history, they picked a softball player. And both those times, they were both Bruins. One of them was Lisa Fernandez, and the other one was Natasha Watley. And those are proud moments for not only UCLA, but for our sport. To have softball recognized as literally having the best athlete across the country, with basketball, track, soccer, volleyball, all of them, was a great moment in our sport. But to be able to say I played alongside some of those greats was outstanding. I remember also playing against Michelle Granger. Michelle Granger was this phenomenal lefty, blew at 70 miles an hour from 40 feet and just changed the game. I mean, she was somebody. She also was an Olympic, one of your teammates. But
Lefty, big, like 6 foot, what?
Yeah, 6'1", and had a stride, and she was in your face, and you started swinging before it came, and just a phenomenal athlete. I remember one of my most memorable, but not really memorable moments was I got to face Michelle Smith, and I didn't even really know who Michelle Smith was, and it was one of those opportunities as a young softball player that you realize you play just to play. I didn't really put a name or a face together, but got an opportunity to face Michelle Smith in the College World Series, her senior year, my freshman year, to be able to see who's going to go on to be able to win. And
Oklahoma State, right?
Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know anything more that we were down. We were down by 1, in the late innings, and here comes the freshman to the plate, and little did I know the phenomenal Michelle Smith was on the mound, and got an opportunity to battle against her, and boom, hit a double I'll never forget. Off the left field wall, scored 2 runs. UCLA goes on to beat Oklahoma State. That was the last game of Michelle Smith's collegiate career.
Oh, wow.
But I have so much respect for Michelle.
Kelly I took her out. Michelle Smith, legend.
Not Michelle, but
legend, Olympian, 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
But there's so many phenomenal athletes during our time that played the game. The Yvonne Gutierrez's, the Lorraine Minez's. I can go on and on, going into the next generation of the Jen Brundages, and I can go into the Natasha Watleys and the Stacey Newmans and the Amanda Freeds and the Julie Adams as Bruins, going head to head right across. We played against the Jenny Finches of the world and the Jenny Daltons and the Caitlin Lowe's. So we went through that era where Arizona really came on the scene, and there were some phenomenal players that came through Arizona's program. But then
I remember Laura Espinoza. Were you watching at that time, or were you competing?
No, we were playing against her. So Laura Espinoza was one of the most phenomenal power hitters in the game. And I do know one thing. Lisa had a wicked curve that she could swing and miss. And that was probably one of our, most memorable moments, is figuring out a way to get that big hitter out. But Laura did an outstanding job of leaving her mark. Leah Bratz was a big name at Arizona.
Susie Parra?
Susie Parra, oh geez. We could not figure out a way to hit Susie Parra.
Now, was it Susie who helped to put Arizona on the map? Was she the pitcher? Which one?
Susie Parra, absolutely. Susie Parra was the one that
Jenny
beat
Dalton
us.
Was there. I'm trying to think of
Leah Bratz, Jenny Dalton, Nancy Evans, Susie Parra, Evans. Laura Espinoza, Amy Shelvold. There were just, there were several that
name dropping.
Yeah. For Arizona, there were a lot of respect, but I think their speed game combined with their power and their pitching. Susie Parra was phenomenal. Debbie Day was a big pitcher.
Day.
I know.
Yeah. What a career you have.
Well, that was our playing days, but then if you just keep going on as an assistant, then I think that's probably the most exciting part. You continue to see different generations of just phenomenal players. Like I said, the Natasha Watleys and the Amanda Freeds and the Stacey Newmans that have come through our game, playing against the Jenny Finches and the Jenny Daltons, those types of players. But to today, being able to see so many great collegiate athletes. But I think probably, if I want to go back in time, one of my most favorite moments in our sport was being able to witness and be the craziest fan in the first ever Olympics in 1996. I mean, that by far, I can remember like it was yesterday, losing my voice, red, white, and blue, tattoos on my face, bandana. I never have felt more in love with my country than those first games in Atlanta. And being able to have personal relationships with the players as far as seeing them train and put their blood, sweat, and tears and their commitment to the sport, and you'll see them literally have this opportunity to represent our sport in the first Olympic Games. I will never, ever forget that experience. To see players like you, Dot, and Lisa train, and to see you put so many hours in and the love of the game, and to be able to see all of it come to reality, just game by game. But you were relentless in your pursuit of being able to take pride in representing our country and our sport, and took on the responsibility of paving the road for the younger girls that are have the ability to also represent, our biggest opportunity to represent the red, white, and blue. But no better moment than literally the gold medal game and watching you, Dot, at the plate. I mean, 0-0 ball game, and we couldn't have described it any better. And I remember I was kind of up way high, and the energy was just, we were exhausted, and it was a close game, and Dot Richardson comes to the plate. And in that moment, if there was one person that had the ability to make history in that moment, no better person than Dot Richardson, who was the face of Team USA at that time. Yes, Lisa was a phenomenal pitcher, but Dr. Dot Richardson, was the name and the face of USA Softball. So for you to come up in that moment and come to the plate and have such confidence, I mean, we could all feel it, we could all sense it, and for you to be able to swing your stick with that beautiful swing of yours, and all of us stand up like, oh my God, please, and have you, all of us watch, and your hands go in the air because you couldn't really tell if it was going to go out, and for you to hit the game-winning home run. And I remember screaming and crying at the same time, thinking this is an unbelievable moment, not only for us to be able to win, but for you, who have always told us that anything is possible, and have lived your life to the fullest of literally backing that. Was an unbelievable experience for me that I will never forget. And then obviously watching Lisa be able to finish it out and throw that last pitch, and I have a visual of her chucking her glove, straight to the sky, and you all dogpiled, and I mean, I'll never forget that. That was an opportunity, and I was so grateful to be able to go and see it and be a fan, and not just watch it, but feel it and live it, and all of that. That will be a never-ending memory that burns in my mind forever. And then there were definitely wonderful Olympics to follow, but the first, nothing beats the first. And you're leaving your mark on the game. So, oh yeah, I have a ton, but that was a moment that I'll never forget.
Well, I'm smiling because not only am I living the moment again with you, but it's totally Kelly I reflecting everything back, on everybody else. But this is a key, and I think this is important for this discussion. You have watched and played and trained with the best. You're coached the best. I would really love for you to tell tell these youngsters, what does it take to be the best? Even taking us through a training session before the Olympics with an athlete like Lisa Fernandez on her own, because she was not on her own. I am sure you were there catching her. Kurt Walker was there helping her too, but just how do you say blood, sweat, and tears in training to be a champion?
You know, I think what I got to also see is a time when, you know, the softball elite in our game were truly playing for the love of the game. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about recognition. It was truly about those that took pride in representing, you know, the USA and the love of the game. And women's majors was thriving, you know, and there was great pride in just continuing to play and winning championships and competing. So I got to see a time when people would put a lot of work in on their own and put in, like I say, the blood, sweat, and tears simply because they wanted to be prepared for that moment. And they took great pride in being able to compete and have almost bragging rights were the most important thing versus any one accolade that you can get. So I got to see that and to see people that had a work ethic that is something that definitely separates the good from the great. Those that you know, nobody's out there, nobody's watching. It's extra time beyond just the practice. You know, you have to be a part of a 3-hour practice of a pregame and reps and drills and all those things that absolutely are your foundation. And you have to put that work in. But the great separate themselves out by being able to come early or stay late when nobody's watching and put the extra time and reps in. And I have absolutely been able to see those players separate themselves from the rest of the game. You know, and everyone talks about it and everyone dreams about it, but it's those that literally get out there with a tee, with a ball, or ask for someone to play catch, like the Lisas. You know, like you having those moments when nobody's out there. We're just training, just continuing to prepare for those big moments. Are probably my greatest memories. And literally, I have great visuals of those players that stayed consistent and true to the game. Always did have their foundation, but put in the extra work. The game paid them back. It truly did. And that's probably one of the most inspirational messages I can say is the basics of the game you absolutely have to do. It's a team sport, but if you truly want to be able to succeed on that stage, being able to understand putting in the extra, putting in the little extra is going to allow you to have the confidence to get out there and truly succeed at the highest level, because you never know when your moment's going to be. And you want to truly prepare yourself to be prepared for that one opportunity you may have, and that's what makes us fall in love with this sport.
There's something else that you can touch on with working hard, the extra time putting in, but something is different with those that are the best of the best. And I think the difference is, as I saw you catching Lisa in practice, you weren't just catching the ball. It was like you were playing the game in this practice time with nobody else around. You know, yeah, I'm there watching sometimes, but there are a lot of times I didn't. But what I saw is your strategy of visualizing, here's a batter. She's left, you know, she's in the left sided hand in a box and she's back, or she's this way or that way, or look at her hand. But the batter wasn't there and the fans weren't there. But yet it was like you could see Lisa putting herself in the championship game, you the same way, in that connection. So for all the catchers and all of us others who aren't catchers, how do you get to that mindset?
And once again, that's, I believe, truly the love for the game. You know, we could create an opportunity to prepare for a moment in the game and have that creative bullpen to be able to say, okay, you know, here's the big moment. And I can truly say that is probably the biggest part of why Lisa Fernandez is who she is. You know, she trains the same way she plays. And for a lot of girls out there, it's very difficult to do that. I can't wait for game day, but practice is just practice. And the consistency is difficult to transition from practice to the game. Where Lisa Fernandez, every game, I mean, every practice was a game. Mm-hmm. And, you know, every pitch, like, you know, she'd be in the bullpen, like once again, with no one watching, jumping and the energy and what do you got, what's a sitch? And we'd play these games that, honestly, when we got to the real game, we were playing the same game. You know, here's the girl because we created. It's so and so up to the plate. You know, there's a runner on second. You know, she's on the plate. She swings and misses at the first one. What do we got next pitch? And we had played it so many times that when we got to the stage, batters became mere formalities. You know, we would just be playing our game in the zone, the same thing that we had done in the bullpen, and that is unique. You know, you have to have the ability to have an imagination, but also a passion for the game. And a big part of it was we wanted to be prepared for that moment. We wanted to be able to have a plan going into it, but we loved it. I think we truly loved it, and that those are times that I truly miss playing catch in the bullpens with Lisa, and inspiring the young future to be able to know those little things are the little intangibles that prepare you for the stage, because you don't want to put yourself in a position to get there and have it feel big. But for Lisa and I, it was fun. Every day was a challenge. We enjoyed playing the game within the game. We won several championships in that bullpen.
Several.
But then we would have just great opportunities. Once again, it's about who you surround yourself with, and if you surround yourself with people that are just as passionate and committed as you are, then anything can happen.
Kelly Inouye, she's so inspiring. But I'm saying this with all honesty. All of us need to be more like Kelly Inouye. All of us need to be more like catchers. Catchers, a servant heart. You are so selfless. And as catchers, that's your nature. But control is also part of it. And how do you balance the two of them? This is a tough question. How do you balance that wanting to be in control? You're a head coach at UCLA, but given the spotlight up?
I truly believe I had a great opportunity to meet Coach Wooden. And he was one of the first people that called me when I got the head coaching position. It had always been a part of our Bruin life, but and I asked him the question, how am I going to manage this history of UCLA and carrying it on, and wanted to ask his advice. And he did a great job of being able to, tell me one of his Woodenisms of yesterday. All that history, tradition, all of that is as old as dirt. It's yesterday. You have no control over tomorrow. So figuring out how to put yourself in a position to make today, create a masterpiece today, is something that I've really taken great pride in. I want to be. I miss playing. God, I miss playing. There's no better thing than to get on the field and play. To be an assistant is so much fun, because you get to be right there side by side with the girls in kind of a teammate fashion. But being the head coach is a whole different responsibility. It is creating a game plan, and it is setting a lineup, and it's building relationships that you have to manage throughout a season. And by nature, I want to have that catcher mentality and take care of them. But I find great joy now in being a leader, in understanding my responsibility is to get them to understand the bigger picture, to get them to represent the program, to get them to be prepared for the big stage, and understand that it is, how I carry myself is going to definitely reflect it in my players. And understanding that is something that I take a new take on how I approach the game. It's not just about being that assistant mentality, but it's also being able to teach them leadership, and to teach them how to take control of a situation and be confident and be prepared and put themselves in a position for them to be in the spotlight and literally experience the success that I believe the game will pay them back if they put the work in. But control is an interesting word. I don't know if we're ever completely in control.
Yeah.
And the age group that I'm dealing with, I think what I enjoy about college athletics is this stage that we're on, from your freshman to your senior year, is the last stage that you really truly are surrounded by people that will have your back as softball players and teammates before you hit the real world. And it's not about how hard you can throw it or how far you can hit it, but it's about your ability to actually produce in the real world. So this is such a unique, fun time for you to learn such valuable lessons about yourself, how to be a part of a team, how to learn time management, and how to put yourself in a position to be prepared to continue to kick butt in the real world. And I truly love it. I'm passionate about it. I truly am blessed to be surrounded by some of my best friends and people that inspire me every day to continue to make sure that we do our best to uphold a tradition and responsibility in our sport. But it never gets old. It's a playground. I love what I'm doing. Like I say, it's about who you surround yourself with. I'll always say that, because without that, you're not going to be able to truly experience what it feels like to be a part of a team and a family, and it's not going to be as rewarding for you. It's not about me in the big picture. I'm fortunate to be able to represent a wonderful university with wonderful tradition, and my job is to continue to make sure those girls have the same experience that I had, and it's been a blast, definitely.
We'll talk about the legendary coaches before you. You mentioned John Wooden, and being able to have the resource to meet him and talk to him, one of the most successful coaches of all time, UCLA basketball, 10 national championships, I believe. But what about Sharon Backus and Sue Inouye-Perez.
You know, when you talk about some of the greats in our sport, absolutely. During the recruiting time, I had a wonderful opportunity to be recruited by several schools, you know, and have that opportunity to go play collegiate softball. But when I got the call from Sharon Backus, that's all I needed, because literally the best were at UCLA. And Sharon was very simple. You know, she literally always say, you know, there's no need for words, you know, walk softly, Kelly, but carry a big stick. And she did an outstanding job of inspiring us. She didn't say a whole lot. She let us play, and she put us in a position to be able to succeed because she surrounded us with great players with a high expectation. Practices were intense. Expectations were intense. She simplified the game on just how to play it. But I had a great experience playing for Coach Backus because she kept the game very simple. She let us play, and she had a lot of confidence. Playing for Sue Inouye-Perez was in a completely different experience. Nobody more inspirational than Sue. Just has great passion and energy for the game, but it's also created that family atmosphere. Truly could kick your butt and give you a hug and support you and make you truly feel like you could accomplish anything. So Sue and Sharon, literally I am here today because of both of them, Sue and Sharon, and both of them have played the game and approached the game in two completely different ways that have allowed me to become who I am today, which is a little bit of Sue, and more of Sharon. But both of them have been wonderful role models, not just in our sport, but for me, and still continue to be mentors and family to me on a day-to-day. But they have definitely, both of them have left their mark in the game, and I'm proud to say that I got to be a part of it.
Now, Kelly Inouye-Perez, a legend in the game. Listen, be quiet, and carry a big stick. Thanks, Kelly, for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure to come back and watch part 14 of Softball History. Please tell your friends about the Fastpitch TV show and this series of softball history shows. Make sure and take a look at my website, www.fastpitch.tv, to keep up with all the episodes of the show, okay? Now, until next time, this is your host, Gary Leland, saying goodbye, and thanks for watching.
Do you need a softball bat? Do you want to save $30? SoftballJunk.com is offering an additional $30 discount off the price of all non-sale softball bats on their website. That's right, $30. So the next time you buy a bat, go to softballjunk.com and enter the code FPTV30 during checkout, and wham! You just put a cool $30 in your pocket. This show is a member of the Fastpitch TV network. See all of our shows and blogs at www.fastpitch.tv.